Most welcome to the next video in my small attempt to give some hints on what one might play in the open Sicilian for white without going through tons of theory. Not claiming that it will give an objective advantage, nor do I claim that it is covering everything. Is just to give hints of ideas so that you can have something to work from yourself. And for a while I have forgotten to say what every YouTuber should say sooner or later in the video. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and if you like the content, also share it with your friends so that this channel for accessible chess will get more viewers and will be more easily found by people by that. So, as you know, I am a blind FIDE master, former 4 times junior world champion for visually impaired, once upon a time rated #1 in the world for seniors among visually impaired. And I try to do videos that can be accessible for blind players. Therefore, I repeat the moves, I tell the moves very clearly. It can be a little bit boring for the sighted viewers, but as a compensation for everyone, I try to offer interesting content. So please bear with this and support this project, because many YouTube channels, they are fantastic in many ways, but they are very difficult to follow if you are a blind player having an accessible chessboard at the side of the computer or the phone or whatever you use for listening to it, because there you have to move the pieces so that you can touch the pieces and feel the position, so to say, with your hands. And then most channels, they are telling the moves more or less well. Some don't at all, some do it now and then, some do it pretty well, but what they all have in common, and that is natural, because they are focusing on sighted players, the tempo is far too high. So that is an explanation for new viewers, especially, who might wonder why I do like I do on this channel. So we are now turning to the dragon variation in the Sicilian defense, and I will talk about it when we reach to the actual position. So here we start. White plays pawn to echo 4. Let's see. So pawn to echo 4. And black plays pawn to Charlie 5. Pretty expected. Pawn to Charlie 5. We have the Sicilian defense on the board. Knight to Foxtrot 3. Knight to Foxtrot 3. Black plays pawn to Delta 6. Pawn to Delta 6. White goes for pawn to Delta 4. Pawn to Delta 4. And now we have the so-called open variation of the Sicilian on the board. Black captures. Charlie takes Delta 4. Charlie takes Delta 4. And white recaptures with the knight. Knight takes Delta 4. Knight takes Delta 4. Black plays knight to Foxtrot 6. Knight to Foxtrot 6. And white plays knight to Charlie 3. Knight to Charlie 3. And earlier we have dealt with the Najdorf variation, which is maybe the most common. I haven't checked the statistics, but it's very, very common, both on the very highest level, but also on club level. It's an exciting variation that I have played myself many, many times with both white and black. But today we will go for another line that is especially popular on club level. Dragon, pawn to golf 6, pawn to golf 6. Yeah, and this line, I have also played it. I have 2 games with black, I think, on the channel already. The first World Championship, Junior World Championship final against Qd3 Qa5 that I won back in 1985. And another game played against Robert Koszynski, very strong Polish player that sadly left us far too early. He had 2450 as I played him, I think 2450. And I was black playing the Dragon with 1980 in rating and managed to win quite convincingly. So I have very positive memories related to the Dragon as black. The Dragon is known to be a very dynamic opening variation. And I will explain why I think that is wrong. The idea with golf 6 is, of course, to fianchetto the bishop, bishop golf 7. Normally black castles kingside, plays knight to Charlie 6, and puts pressure on the queen side, usually with the rook on Charlie 8, maybe the queen goes to alpha 5. And together with this long-term pressure that the bishop on golf 7 might get down towards the white queen side, black tries to drum up play. The most popular line for white is the so-called Yugoslav attack. That is bishop to echo 3, pawn to foxtrot 3, queen to delta 2. Normally white castles queenside and then throws the pawn up the king side, hotel 4, hotel 5, trying to open files against the black king. That is the normal scenario. And it has often led to very sharp games. Very, very sharp. Normally involving rather exchange sacrifices, piece sacrifices, and so on. Okay, you try to open files with the pawns, but normally it is the pieces that do most of the fireworks. There are a number of possibilities for white to get a small edge against the dragon if you follow the modern theory at the current state of affairs. And that is something like this Yugoslav attack, and you play castles queenside, and there you can get a small edge, even making it quite boring for black to play, because black will have to suffer in a slightly inferior endgame or in a position where it is difficult to get those boom boom things, the bang slams splash that you want as the dragon player to happen. So it is a little bit annoying, really, for black at the moment. At the same time, it requires a bit of knowledge for white to play those lines, quite a lot actually. So I have tried to find other ways, and now I will tell what I think is one of the bigger problems with the position that we have on the board right now. If we compare the dragon with the Najdorf, for example. So in the Najdorf, when the pawn was on alpha 6 instead of the pawn on golf 6 at boot, then the bishop normally stands quite a long time on foxtrot 8, or maybe it goes to echo 7. So the pawn on delta 6 is protected even if the echo pawn moves forward 1 or 2 steps. When I think of dynamic play, we can maybe think of 2 categories of dynamism. Dynamic piece play, that's for sure can take place in the dragon. But when black has a lot of different pawn pushes, that I call dynamic pawn play. I try to invent this differentiation as we speak. Then the dragon is not the way to go. Because if you have put your bishop on golf 7, the E pawn, the echo pawn, usually stands on echo 7 for quite a while. It is not common that black pushes echo 6 and then delta 5, for example. Pushes like delta 5, they can take place, but they are not very, very common. They actually occur in one of the most fashionable lines, but that is kind of a pawn sack. If you don't get these attacking possibilities with your pieces, as a black player wants, then the pawn structure can be a bit difficult to handle for black. Nothing much goes on if white can control, for example, the delta 5 square, maybe put a knight there. And then get an exchange so that the echo pawn takes on delta 5. Then there can be pressure down the echo 5. Towards this pawn on echo 7. Black's position I still see very solid, but it can anyway crumble very soon. Yeah, after this long discussion, I use this as an explanation to the line I have chosen for white. It is a line known by theory to be no problem for black. But in practice, I think it is something else. And now I want to show a game from 1988. That was the time when I started to play professional chess. I had just I was done with high school and started to try to improve as chess player. I worked as a coach and played for tournaments and tried to gain some money. At that time, there was a place called Gausdal in Norway, up in the mountains, a very picturesque place indeed. It was on a hotel, and they had a lot of tournaments, especially when there were fewer ski guests there, when it was low season for skiing. The organizers could get favorable prices for the rooms and board and lodging. And I was happy enough to often be offered free board and lodging by the organizers, even when I was not a strong player. But I was a pretty much upcoming. I was junior world champion. I was a young blind player. I was a little bit maybe giving them goodwill. I guess that was a part of it. There often came a group of players from, at that time, Czechoslovakia. They had players like Karel Mokry, I think his name was Karel, very nice guy, and another guy who is the protagonist in this game, Vlastimil Jansa. They were very just pragmatic players. They were strong grandmasters, not often going for the main lines, but they had such lines that give a little annoying edge that the opponents often had problems with. I lost the game myself against Mokri. So Jansa is white in this game. At that time I think he had 2470 something, 2475 maybe. His opponent was a young Swedish guy, Rikard Winsnes. I think he later on became international master. He doesn't play much nowadays, as far as I know. We played against each other many times in the highest league for juniors in Sweden. He was 2 years my junior, I think. This time he had 70. And Jansa here plays bishop to Charlie 4. Bishop to Charlie 4. And when you go through Jansa's game, one can see that he normally avoided the Yugoslav attack with bishop echo 3, foxtrot 3, queen delta 2, castle squeeze, and all the sharp lines. But played more positionally, with either golf 3 with the pawn, followed by bishop golf 2 in move 6 and 7, or as we see here, bishop Charlie 4. Black plays bishop golf 7, bishop to golf 7, and white goes for hotel 3, pawn to hotel 3. This is a good move, taking away the possibility for black to jump with the knight to golf 4, especially important if white wants to develop the bishop to echo 3. You don't want to be attacked by the knight from golf 4. So pawn to hotel 3, black castles kingside, and white does the same. Castles kingside. Here, of course, black has a lot of different ways to develop the pieces. The Najdorf-minded player, so to say, would have liked to play knight bravo delta 7, and then maybe go to Charlie 5. That is possible, but yeah, it is not so popular in the dragon, actually. Black aims at putting pressure on the delta 4 square, and that helps to get rid of some pieces in front of the bishop on golf 7 that wants a very open diagonal, of course. So black plays knight to Charlie 6, and white goes bishop to echo 3, Black goes for another very natural move, but yeah, maybe not the absolutely best. Bishop to delta 7, Here, black aims at putting pressure on echo 4 by exchanging knights on delta 4 and then put the bishop on Charlie 6. It is okay to play like this, but I don't really think it is the best way. I rather would think that an exchange on delta 4 might be okay, but I think that black rather should try to play alpha 6 and bravo 5 quickly after the exchange of pieces. maybe alpha 6 would have been better than knight Charlie 6. But yeah, this is touching on, of course, theoretical lines, but it is not a theory course in itself. I try to come up with ideas and also teach, in this case, a bit of middle game tabias, typical positions, and what can go wrong if you don't understand. So, bishop delta 7. White played bishop to bravo 3. Bishop to bravo 3. And the bishop often stands pretty well here, and white foresees that that bishop will be a bit loose on Charlie 4. It will be attacked sooner or later. So why not just drop it back in prophylax, so to say. And this actually gives white this position as we have now on the board. White has a small edge, I would say. There is not much going on, but white has some space advantage. The pawn on echo 4 takes more space than the pawn on delta 6. And white's bishop on bravo 3 is a pretty good one. The bishop on echo 3, yeah, the bishop on golf 7 might be set to be worse than the bishop on golf 7, but at the same time, white probably will be able to exchange black dark square bishops pretty easy. And then black's king side can also get a bit weakened. So there are small things that suggest that white could be slightly better. Very, just the engines give something like 0.1 pawn, something like this. Very small edge. But what is more important than the objective evaluation of the position is that it is difficult for black to find play. As white has a firm grip of delta 5, that pawn is very difficult to push. You don't really want to move the echo pawn on echo 7, because then the delta 6 pawn will be pretty weak. The bishop is not on echo 7 or foxtrot 8 protecting delta 6. It's actually already on golf 7. So if black should drum up some counterplay, it must be with alpha 6, bravo 5, maybe bravo 4, alpha 5, and so on. But it is a little bit, it takes a bit of time to get there. And white, meanwhile, can start to put up pressure in the center using the delta 5 square, and also trying to exploit the somewhat weakened black's king's position. All right, black played knight takes delta 4. Knight takes delta 4. So white recaptures, of course. Bishop takes delta 4. Bishop takes delta 4. And black plays bishop Charlie 6. Bishop to Charlie 6. We can see here that black he used two moves, knight Charlie 6 and knight takes delta 4, just to exchange an opponent's piece. And the bishop on Charlie 8 has used two moves to get to Charlie 6. It's not the end of the world. Of course, white's bishop on echo 3 also made a second hop in the game, so to say, when it recaptured on delta 4. But nevertheless, black uses some time, and white is how should we say? Black has managed to exchange one piece, which is good when you have less space. But at the same time, it has allowed white to put the bishop on delta 4. Now I would say that the white dark square bishop is at least as strong as the black one, probably stronger. So bishop to Charlie 6. white then played queen delta 3, queen to delta 3. And this is a good move. It protects echo 4, of course, and also keeps a lot of possibilities open for the rooks. They can now be placed on echo 1 and delta 1, but often we can see that white wants to double on the echo file also. So, yeah, you could have played rook echo 1 as well, no doubt about it. Black plays queen to alpha 5, queen to alpha 5. And we see it is a typical dragonesque line where black plays with the pieces instead of with the pawns. But that is due to the difficulties playing with the pawns in the dragon is such a line where white mostly puts out the pieces on good squares and trying to hold black back. Not doing much, but maybe doing a little bit now and then, bit by bit increasing the pressure. White plays rook foxtrot to echo 1, rook foxtrot to echo 1. And that is signaling that white will try to get some pressure, some nagging pressure against the pawn on echo 7. Here, probably, black should have played something else, but he played rook foxtrot to echo 8, rook foxtrot to echo 8. That is very understandable. Black is a good player, 2270 as I said, but he plays a grandmaster 200 points higher rated with a lot of experience, and then you maybe try to protect your pawns like he does here, instead of trying something more active. Actually, here, black had to play a bit of atypical dragon moves like rook foxtrot delta 8 and then pawn to echo 6. I would say that that would be the way to go if you want to keep the balance in the position. But it would, of course, give white pressure against delta 6. It wouldn't be the end of the world at all. So that is also such way of playing is also what Stockfish 17 recommends, for example. But it is understandable that you don't want to take weaknesses on yourself against a strong opponent. So rook foxtrot echo 8 is very much understandable. But now we have the first really important jump in the game. Knight to delta 5. Knight to delta 5. And this is a very important position in the game. White has positional threat. That is, knight takes foxtrot 6. Check. Leading to the black must accept or take a doubled f-pawn after exchanges of foxtrot 6. Black's pawn structure gets weakened, and the pawn on delta 6 might even fall soon. Okay, you can say that you have counter pressure against echo 4, but white can easily defend that pawn and then continue pressurizing delta 6. So that you don't want. So either you have to take on delta 5, or you have to remove the knight from Foxtrot 6. Knight to delta 7 would be an okay move here, I would say. Then we would have exchanges on Golf 7, so the dark squared bishops would disappear, and white would remain with a slight advantage, mainly due to the space advantage white has, more space. And white can easily put the pieces in the center, rook echo 3, rook alpha echo 1, or rook alpha delta 1 and rook echo 3, trying to bit by bit provoke weaknesses in black's position. It is very small edge for white, but a small edge anyway, maybe 0.1, 0.2 pawns. But most important, it is a position that dragon players normally don't like. You just have to stand there defending passively. So black instead wanted to clear things out and exchange this very dominating knight. You don't really want to let such a knight just stand there. So black played bishop takes delta 5, bishop takes delta 5. And by this exchange, white's advantage increases quite a bit. White recaptured, echo takes delta 5, echo takes delta 5. And here, white has got the two bishops and pressure along the half-open echo file. White can continue by moves like rook echo 3, pawn to call 4, rook alpha echo 1, putting pressure both along the echo file and on the king side. So we will see in the game that white doesn't play very sharp, but consistently pressurizing and actually wins on a king side attack anyway. But yeah, bishop takes delta 5 gives white an edge. If we would understand how black's reasoned here, I would guess that black wanted to exchange dark square bishops and remain with a knight that could be a very strong piece if it could stand on echo 5 or Charlie 5. If there would be an endgame with knight against the bishop on Bravo 3, then black could be quite happy. The bishop is a bit hampered by the pawn on delta 5. But as some chess players have told before, God created the endgame, he first creating the opening and the middle game. So black has to survive until such an endgame, otherwise it will not happen. So after echo takes delta 5, black now played knight delta 7, just according to the reasoning I have just given. Knight delta 7. And we have exchange on golf 7, bishop takes golf 7, and black plays king takes golf 7. King takes golf 7. So now black has managed to swap off 3 minor pieces. Again, something that you want to do when you have less space. So now the space advantage should decrease in significance. But yeah, well, this is a truth with modification. Because the pawn on delta 5 holds down the pawn on echo 7. And you see that the bishop on Bravo 3 is maybe not it doesn't seem that it is such a strong piece, but it also helps white because black cannot push the pawn to echo 6 or echo 5 because there will be delta takes echo 6 en passant or just delta takes echo. And then the bishop also covers echo 6. So black will lose material. So the bishop is actually active, and we will see some themes when this bishop standing behind the delta 5 pawn anyway plays a significant role in the kingside attack. White continues with rook to echo 3, rook to echo 3, and black plays rook alpha Charlie 8, rook alpha Charlie 8. Perfectly natural moves. Black has now developed all pieces. They stand on okay squares, it seems. Black has no weaknesses at all. What could be wrong with black's position? Yeah, the problem is that it's very difficult to do something. Now it starts to be very high time actually to create counterplay. White plays rook alpha, echo 1. Rook alpha to echo 1, putting more pressure on echo 7. Black plays rook Charlie 7, rook to Charlie 7. Puts up a little trap here, very nasty one. And that is that if white now would capture on echo 7, the black knight could hop up to echo 5, threatening the white queen, and at the same time discovering a threat against from Charlie 7 to echo 7. So white has to move the queen or take on echo 5, which would mean that black would win material in exchange for a pawn. And he would lose the exchange but gain a pawn, but be clearly inferior. So rook takes echo 7 is not white's next move. White plays rook 1 to echo 2, rook 1 to echo 2. Typical Jansa move. There are stronger moves in the position. I think queen delta 4 would be stronger, for example. But rook 1 echo 2 is a very pragmatic, very practical move. The experienced grandmaster just asks his younger opponent, okay, what's your next move? I just moved the rook out of the fire from the queen on alpha 5, so there would never happen anything there. And still white has all these possibilities with golf 4, even hotel 4 can be an option, queen to delta 4, and so on. And now we also, when the rook is on echo 2, it gives white the opportunity of moving the rook from echo 3 maybe to foxtrot 3 also. So it is a good prophylactic move, rook 1 to echo 2. And I would guess that black now starts to get into time trouble. So black played knight foxtrot 6, knight to foxtrot 6. So now the pawn on echo 7 is well defended by the two rooks. So it still looks that black's position is rock solid. White plays queen delta 4, queen to delta 4. And the idea is, of course, here also to continue with the pawn to golf 4, threatening golf 5. And also rook to foxtrot 3 is an idea that comes to mind. Black played king to foxtrot 8, king to foxtrot 8. this king move looks a bit artificial to me. I think that black so much wanted to overprotect Qh7 that he wanted to have the king on foxtrot 8. At the same time, if the knight moves to the wrong square, so to say, then white's king, if black's knight moves, let's say to, whatever, hotel 5, just to take a square, then we have queen to hotel 8, checkmate. So, intuitively, I don't like the move. King to foxtrot 8, nevertheless, and white played golf 4. Pawn to golf 4. So you see that now white starts to put more pressure on the king's side. And all white's pieces are working perfectly fine together. Black's pieces are okay, but the queen on alpha 5 is a bit outside, or offside, one should maybe say. It will soon get into the game, but has no really good squares. So black must now, to survive, soon throw up the pawns on the queen's side to do something active. But yeah, we see how it goes. Black played queen to Charlie 5, queen to Charlie 5. And white just dropped back the queen to delta 2. Queen to delta 2. And Jansa doesn't really care of playing the most exact moves here. He plays natural moves, and as I followed some of his games, we often sat at the same table. We had lunch or dinner or breakfast. That was the players normally sat together in the restaurant, and his view on chess was very pragmatic and very interesting, and it had a bit of impact on my own play, although I never became very pragmatic. So queen to delta 2. Black now pushes bravo 5, pawn to bravo 5. And white plays rook foxtrot 3, rook to foxtrot 3. And this is a move that comes with a distinct threat, maybe the first threat in the game almost. Now, because of the if let me put it like this: if white can play yet another move directly, it might follow rook takes foxtrot 6, echo takes foxtrot 6, queen to hotel 6 check, king to golf 8, and rook takes echo 8, checkmate. So that is something black has to check out, do something against. So it followed knight delta 7 again. Knight to delta 7. You can see how this knight hops back and forth, back and forth. Now white made a mistake. Queen to foxtrot 4. Queen to foxtrot 4. Here actually, you can actually think of what you could do instead. You can pause it if you so wish. As I don't want to go back and forth a lot on the board, as that would cause problems for the visually impaired players following on the board, you have to use your imagination. That is even good for you as chess player. Instead of queen to foxtrot 4, queen to hotel 6 is winning. Queen to hotel 6 would be check. Black would move the king to golf 8, only move. And now, bang, rook takes foxtrot 7. Rook takes foxtrot 7. King takes foxtrot 7. is of course the only move. Queen takes hotel 7 check. Queen takes hotel 7. King to foxtrot 8. Queen to foxtrot 8. And this is a theme that you should remember. Rook to echo 6. Rook to echo 6. That comes with a threat, of course, with rook takes golf 6. And then both the queen and the rook takes part in the attack against the quite lonely black king. Rook echo 6. We can see anyway that black has some counter resources here. I will mention, for example, knight echo 5, knight to echo 5. But then white can actually sacrifice the exchange. Rook takes echo 5. Rook takes echo 5. Delta takes echo 5, of course. Delta takes echo 5. And then the light square bishop on Bravo 3 comes to life. Delta 6. Delta 6. Threatening mate with queen to foxtrot 7, or queen to golf 8. But let's see what happens now. Am I misremembering things here maybe? What happens if black plays echo takes delta 6? Then the rook on Charlie 7 protects on foxtrot 7. What was it then? I had to actually think a little bit more. So, instead of queen to foxtrot 4, let's be shown like this. Queen to hotel 6 check. King to golf 8. Rook takes foxtrot 7. King takes foxtrot 7. Queen takes hotel 7 check. King to foxtrot 8. And here rook echo 3 is actually stronger than rook echo 6, I would say. But let's see. Let's see rook echo 3. We still have to think of moves like knight echo 5. Then, yeah, as I already told, white can take on echo 5. Rook takes echo 5. Delta takes echo 5. But here you first have to put in an intermediate check. Queen to hotel 6 check after delta takes echo 5. Then it comes king foxtrot 7, for example. Then delta 6 check, threatening the rook on Charlie 7. Black plays pawn to echo 6. White plays queen to hotel 7 check. And then white can continue with delta take Charlie 7. And yeah, the line can be even longer here, but Stockfish evaluates that position is more than 2 pawns up for white. White has it is the exchange down but has some pawns, and black's king's position is still very, very vulnerable. So this is an example line that I wanted to show also because it shows how the bishop on Bravo 3, it seems like it does nothing, but here it plays an important role after delta 6 the diagonal gets opened. There were other also strong options for white instead of queen to foxtrot 4. Hotel 4 is also very strong. Yeah, but queen foxtrot 4 is by no means a bad move. White still has the upper hand. Black plays foxtrot 6, pawn to foxtrot 6. Yeah, and that is the only move actually. You don't want to play knight to foxtrot 6 because white just plays pawn to call 5. But now black has a lot of weaknesses. White plays rook to Charlie 3, rook to Charlie 3, threatening the queen, and here we will see a very important example again of how the white bishop plays an important role. Black plays queen to Bravo 6, queen to Bravo 6, but now it comes rook to Charlie 6, rook to Charlie 6. And you see that black can't capture. Let's say that black played rook takes Charlie 6 now. Then white can play queen to hotel 6 check. The king goes to golf 8. And then it follows delta takes Charlie 6 with a discovered check. Again from our no longer sleeping beauty bishop on Bravo 3. And it also comes with the threat Charlie takes delta 7, so white wins a piece. So black played queen to Bravo 7, queen to Bravo 7. And white played queen to hotel 6 check, queen to hotel 6, king to golf 8, king to golf 8. And now the rook on echo 8 is undefended, so white can simply start to mop up material. Rook takes delta 6, rook takes delta 6. And yeah, black can't really take there because then it comes rook takes echo 8 check. Black desperately tried knight to Charlie 5, knight to Charlie 5, trying to get some activity. And white just continued. Rook takes foxtrot 6, rook takes foxtrot 6, taking the next pawn. Because the e file, the pawn on echo 7 is still pinned in front of the rook on echo 8. Black played knight takes Bravo 3, knight takes Bravo 3, and white continued rook takes golf 6 check, rook takes golf 6. Black played hotel takes golf 6, hotel takes golf 6, and white took with the queen, queen takes golf 6 check, queen takes golf 6 check. Black played king to foxtrot 8, king to foxtrot 8. Yeah, the rook on echo 8 was also threatened, so you have to protect it. And white played queen to foxtrot 5 check, queen to foxtrot 5. And yeah, I would say that yeah, what should I say? Black resigned here, and how should we explain it? Yeah, it's, let's say king to golf 7, then you can move up move the rook up to Qh6, and black can't really defend against white's threats on, for example, rook to Golf6, followed by queen to Hotel 5. It would be checkmate on the H5. I don't see any way for black to get out of it. So white doesn't even need to think of taking on Bravo 3 or anything. It's simply white is up material on the place on the board where things matters. That means the king side. It doesn't matter that black has taken pieces on other parts of the board. So, in summary, first I apologize for me not remembering this example line with queen to Hotel 6, rook takes fox o7 by heart. I had to check it out and repeat it. And the software I'm using right now doesn't allow me to go back and do a recording on just that small part. So that is why I couldn't just skip it and do it as I would have done with other technology. But I hope you can bear with me. What I wanted to show in this game was that white, by playing these not very fashionable lines like bishop to Charlie 4, white was a strong grandmaster, stronger than his opponent. But the opponent was by no means a weak player. And Jansa had good results also against other players. I think Mokri also used this line as white. So putting the pieces on normal square, bishop Charlie 4, you castle kingside, play pawn to Hotel 3, normally drop your bishop back to Bravo 3, and then you just build up your position very slowly. I even let Stockfish 17 and Leela 0, the last version of that one, also play a game, and white won that game actually. It was also that white put up nagging pressure against black and finally could actually break through. So even with the super strong chess engines, white could proved to have a slight plus. So don't believe when people say that bishop Charlie 4 is giving white nothing. That is simply, not correct. I mean, even I think it was Leela who lost as black against Stockfish. It says at least something. It is not easy to play for black when even Leela 0 can hold the field against Stockfish in that line. So if you want to explore this, I think it can. The important thing is for you to learn, for example, when what happens if black now, as happened in the game, swapped bishop, played bishop takes delta 5 and echo takes delta 5, and they had the knight in the center. That increased white's advantage considerably. So that is something you should learn about the middle game. So studying middle game positions and typical maneuvers, there you should spend time instead of just memorizing tons of theory. There you can actually gain a lot more than people think. It puts up pressure, and even when black plays perfectly natural moves, which was the case more or less through the entire game, black was lost after about 20 moves. Thank you for your patience, and I hope that you learned a lot through this lesson. And again, I want to pretend being a real YouTuber. Smash the subscribe button, as Hikaru Nakamura would like to say, and also like the video and share it. Thank you, and I will be back with more videos soon.